Hey, shalom, shalom, shalom. I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawashi Ba Shem, Yahawashi Ba Hashem, Waharakakadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, peace, many blessings and salutations, and to the hopeful elect, the house of David, the Thawadah YAHAWAH Ba, for whom these epistles are written for in these last days. Shalom to the elect. I came across this article and I wanted to bring it out to you, brothers and sisters. And I pray that this is edifying. It's coming from RT News, and the name of the title for this article is it says "Risk of Civil Unrest Rising Globally." All right, study says. All right, so for a lot of people, they believe that a lot of the things that are going on in America are just mutually set aside for America, and that's not true. It's all throughout the entire earth, and the scriptures back it up too. All right, so it says more than 100 nations worldwide have been affected. It says a UK-based global strategic consulting firm says countries worldwide are experiencing an unprecedented rise in the potential for civil unrest, according to a fresh study by Verisk Maplecroft, a UK-based global strategic consulting firm. It says over 100 nations experienced an increase in risk of civil unrest in the last quarter. The company said in its Civil Unrest Index (CUI) published on Thursday, the index is derived from a set of various surveys assessing different factors such as inflation, government mechanisms to overcome or quell conflicts, as well as the overall impact of unrest. Out of 198 nations worldwide, only 42 saw the risk of civil unrest decreasing in the surveyed period, while 101 of them saw it increasing. And it goes right into the prophecy of 2 Esdras 9 and 1. And we'll read down. It says, "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself." This is us measuring the times. We're looking around. We're looking throughout the entire earth, and we're looking at the climate and where everything is heading. Okay, and we're looking towards the future. Okay, but also using the past, as far as history, as measures or things to kind of gauge, all right, where things are headed, and it's all according to prophecy. It says, "And when thou seest part of the signs pass, which I have told thee before," and this is a part of the sign. Okay, this article, the Lord put the spirit on whoever this person is who wrote the article to put this article out, so that the men of the Lord can dissect it using the scriptures. It says, "Then shalt thou understand that it is the very same time where Ananias will begin to visit the world which he made." So when you see these signs come into pass, you're starting to realize that a lot of these things that were taking place before are starting to come manifest, all right, as it was said or written in the scriptures. All right, verse 3, it says, "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world." And so, as you can see, there's many uproars of the people throughout the entire earth, as this study is stating, just backing up the fact that the Lord said that in this time there will be a lot of upheaval, a lot of things that are going on through the entire earth, and these are signs, all right, set up for to let us know that the time of the end is here. Okay, let's go to Matthew. We go there all the time. This is Matthew 24 and 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled. For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places." So, as you can see, these are a lot of the signs that are associated with the times of the end. But there's also uproars of the people in the world, and there's going to be a lot of civil unrest. I'll say that, as far as associated with those times of the end. It says, "For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. All these shall be the beginning of sorrows." So, there's going to be, brother against brother. All right. There's going to be, all types of calamity. All right. People of your same household. This is that division that the Lord has prophesied over 2,000 years ago, what it was going to be. Okay. Let's go to Luke. And 49. This is Luke 12 and 49. It says, "I am come to send fire on the earth, and what will I if it already be kindled?" And so it's already kindled before the Lord gets here. When the Lord gets here, Yahawashi, he's going to get here, and it's already going to be conflict on the earth, all right, in his arrival. Okay, verse 50, it says, "But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how am I straitened till it be accomplished?" And it's not going to be accomplished until he cracks the clouds. Once he cracks the clouds, and then now he's going to come in the midst of war. There's going to be war going on. There's going to be many things going on at this, simultaneously as his second arrival comes through. Okay, verse 51. "Suppose ye that I am come to give peace on earth? I tell you, nay, but rather division." So that is going to be the spirit of the earth as Yahawashi comes through the clouds and makes his triumphant second arrival. And people are going to be amazed. It says, "Every eye shall see him." Okay, so it won't be any mistaking of who he is, right? Verse 52, it says, from henceforth there shall be 5 in one house divided, 2 against 3 and 3 against 2. And that's the spirit of the earth right now. Okay, civil unrest. All right, man, woman, child, everybody against each other. And that's the times that we're in. Okay. And meanwhile, people try to downplay it, but this is the times that we're in. It's no mistaking of this. All right. It says over 100 nations experienced an increase in risk of civil unrest in the last quarter. The company said in its civil unrest index. I already read that. It says the impact is evident across the globe, with popular discontent over rising living costs emerging on the streets of developed and emerging markets alike, stretching from EU, Sri Lanka, and Peru to Kenya. It says Ecuador and Iran. It said in a press release. It says Europe stands out in the ranking negatively, having experienced a rise in the risk of civil unrest in large part due to the fallout from Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The company said. It says the situation on the continent is expected to get worse in the next 6 months, and Bosnia and Herzegovina, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Germany, and Ukraine are all among the states with the biggest projected increases in risk, it added. It says the registered uptick in civil unrest risk is the largest since the CUI was first released by the company back in 2016, with more than 80% of countries around the world seeing inflation above 6%. And that goes into James 5:1. Your gold is cankered. Your silver, all right, is not worth anything. Matter of fact, let's get that, because it's going into the unrest of the people. All right, the money's falling apart. All right, people are starting to take notice of this. Let's go to Ezekiel. Beautiful. We'll start at 12. This is Ezekiel 7 and 12. It says, "The time has come, the day draweth near. Let not the buyer rejoice, nor the seller mourn, for wrath is upon all the multitude thereof." And that's where we are. You know, everybody's feeling this crunch, you know, and it's starting to manifest in the streets where people are starting to take arms. It says, verse 13, it says, "For the seller shall not return to that which is sold, although they were yet alive. For the vision is touching the whole multitude thereof, which shall not return, neither shall any strengthen himself in the iniquity of his life." So if you've lived a charmed life to this point, there's going to come to a point where you're going to not have as much as you had, and you're going to be faced with the prospects of defending whatever you still have left over from what you had before, which is going to be much less than what you did before. And inflation is causing hell on everybody, okay? Not just the poor, even the rich. It says, verse 14, it says, "They have blown the trumpet even to make all ready, but none goeth to the battle, for my wrath is upon all the multitude thereof. The sword is without, and the pestilence and the famine within." Yeah. So there's going to be an increase in diseases, which we already see that going on right now. Okay. It says, "He that is in the field shall die with the sword, and he that is in the city, famine and pestilence shall devour him." And so you in these major cities, and there's going to be a shortage. It's already a shortage, but the trucks aren't going to be running as often as they used to be. And so, you know, that's going to cause, you know, resources to dry up, and people are going to literally be in the streets fighting over the little resources that are still in the city. It says, verse 16, it says, "But they that escape of them," "But they that escape of them shall escape, and shall be on the mountains like doves of the valley, quiet, peaceful." No, not peaceful, but quiet. All right, just trying to stay out of the way, not be found. It says, "All of them mourning, every one for his iniquity. All hands shall be feeble, and all knees shall be weak as water." I don't need to break that down. You already know what that means. All right, verse 18, it says, "They shall also gird themselves with sackcloth." I mean, they're going to be in a poor state. It says, "And horror shall cover them, and shame shall be upon all faces, and baldness upon all heads." And this goes for the entire global world order. All right. They're purposely, the elite are purposely drying up all the resources across the entire world with the war with Ukraine and Russia. That right there has major consequences on the food that are being disported around the entire earth, not just America. It says, verse 19, it says, "They shall cast their silver in the streets," right? So that money is going to, the money system across the entire earth is going to be in such a case where it's not going to be worth anything. It's going to be worthless. It says, "And their gold shall be removed, and their silver and their gold shall not be able to deliver them in the day of the wrath of the Lord Yahweh. They shall not satisfy their souls, neither fill their bowels, because it is the stumbling block of their iniquity." And so a lot of people are starting to realize with the inflation rising and rising and rising, and it's causing many, many evils to happen throughout the entire earth, and people are starting to look at their neighbors with an evil eye. And that goes right into, Mark 13. Yep, Mark 13 and 12. And this is what's going to lead to. People are going to be looking at each other, even people that you have in high regard right now. All right, because if you're not covered by the blood of Yahawashi, that spirit, that evil spirit, is going to come upon you. Okay, and it's going to overtake you. And at some point, you're going to do something carnal and get rewarded with carnality. All right, verse 12. This is Mark 13 and 12. It says, Now the brother shall betray the brother to death, and the father the son, and children shall rise up against their parents, and shall cause them to be put to death. And ye shall be hated of all men for my name's sake, but he that shall endure to the end, the same shall be saved. And that's the key. With all the hells that's going on to this, that's coming upon this earth, all right, enduring to the end through all the many evils, that is the goal. The Lord wants to see endurance. All right, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. And the Lord is shortening the days. He's given us many different signs. And this article of unrest is yet another sign. And we're going through the scriptures to show you these things must come to pass because they are the beginning of sorrows. All these are the beginning of sorrows. All right. It says, with more than 80% of countries around the world seeing inflation above 6%, socioeconomic risks are reaching critical levels. Almost half of all the countries on the CUI are now categorized as high or extreme risk, and a large number of states are expected to experience a further deterioration over the next 6 months. It says, Marisk Maplecroft noted, the global trend is unlikely to change anytime soon, the company warned. Only a significant reduction in global food and energy prices can arrest the negative global trend in civil unrest risk. It says recession fears are mounting and inflation is expected to be worse in 2023 than in 2022, it explained. And again, it just goes back to when people are going to start to betray you. Okay? We're not marveling at any of this because we understand prophecy must come to pass. It must come to pass. There's no escaping the prophecy that's come to set upon the earth. And that's why you brothers that are paying attention and watching, you're going to be found, all right, you're going to be found in good case. Because this is what the Lord demanded that you do, okay? This is 1 Thessalonians 5:1. It says, But of the times and of the seasons, brethren, you have no need that I write unto you. For yourselves know perfectly that the day of the Lord Yahawashi so cometh as a thief in the night. And when all these things are happening right now, and there's so many things going on right now, these people are not going to be prepared for what's about to hit this earth. They're not even prepared for what's already here. They're not going to be prepared for what's going to actually hit, the major events. So, let's finish off in Isaiah, because it's all leading towards, that division, all right, where people are going to be at each other's necks for any of the resources that are left that the elite did not snap up. I was reading an article earlier where they were many African countries are being incentivized to feed their hungry bugs. That's where we are. That's where we are. All right. It says, Isaiah 19:2, it says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. And what does that mean? That means civil war. It says, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, kingdom against kingdom. That's where we are. For lack of bread, they're not going to care. They're not going to care that they've been neighbors with you for 20 plus years. That's not going to matter. And it's all across the world. So it's not going to be in specifically. Now, obviously, this is going to be the hot spot of all hot spots right here in America. But all across the world, as the study says, this is going through the entire earth. Everybody is in this spirit, So I'm going to go ahead and wrap it right there. I can get some more scriptures, but you get the gist of this. Definitely, that's the spirit that we're seeing. Matter of fact, I didn't want to leave like that. We have one more. We'll start at 1. This is 2 Esdras 15:1. It says, Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord Yahawashi, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. Boom. So we're going to jump down to 12 real quick, or 11. And, you know what I'm saying, and it's talking about the plagues, but this is one of those major plagues. This is 2 Esdras 15:11. It says, But I will bring them with a mighty hand and a stretched out arm, and smite Egypt with plagues as before. It says, and will destroy the land thereof, and it's doing it from the inside out. All right, with the civil unrest and things of that nature, it's gonna be impossible to escape this. You have to be of the elect to make it through all the way to the end, and the same shall be saved. Verse 12, it says, Egypt shall mourn, and the foundation of it shall be smitten with the plague and punishment that the Most High shall bring upon it. That's right. Verse 14, it says, Woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction draweth nigh, and one people shall stand up against, it's like you stand up and fight against another with swords in their hands. It sounds like civil unrest, right? It says, For there shall be sedition among men. Sedition means speech against the government. It says, and invading one another, and they shall not regard their kings nor princes. It says, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. And that's where we are in 2022 going into 2023. There is very much sedition. And also, there are many people that are angry with the power structure and where it's going, and recession and inflation compounding all of these things. I'm gonna let you just assume. I'm gonna let you just answer that to yourself, what that's gonna lead to. So with that, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahawashi, Yahawashi, Sham, Shalom to the elect.